Hi crafters, are you looking for a quick and easy card? We have that for you today. Hi, this is Creative Moments by G and I'm G. So let's head down to the crafting table and let me show you that card. Okay, here is a buckle card and our version is so easy to create. Now look at that. We simply pop it out and then we slip it back down under. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to need to do is cut your base card. And our base card is 4 1/4 by 9 3/4. So we're going to go ahead and just extend this arm right here. And we are going to cut this at 9 3/4. Then we're going to turn it short ways and we're going to cut it at 4 1/4. Now, make sure you stay with us because I'm going to make 2 cards with you tonight. And the first card is a Valentine card. We need to make a score line and that will be at 5 1/2. So turn it long ways and go 5 1/2 and give it a good score. Let's go ahead and just cut the other parts to the card. Now we need a buckle. So let's go ahead and grab a white piece of paper and our buckle is going to be 2 by 6 inches. So let's go ahead and cut 2 by 6 inches. And we're going to score at 2 inches. Now, I want to remind you that all the measurements will be listed over on creativemomentsbyg.com, my blog. So you don't have to write those down right now. Just feel free to pop on over to our website blog. Okay, so we have our buckle. We have our base card. And now we're just going to cut some mats so that we can have all the cutting out of the way. So the next piece we need is just a white mat. And that mat is going to be 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So let's just cut a square. Now, if you want to put another mat on it, like I do, you will then cut a 4 by 4 square. So let's just do that very quickly, and then we will have everything cut. Okay, let's put away our trimmer. And let's go ahead and take our card and let's take the long part of the cardstock and fold up. Get your bone folder and let's give it a good crease. Okay, so we have our landscape card and here it is, just like this. Now, the next thing we can do is we could put this mat and then our white mat is going on top of it, just like this. So let's go ahead and lay those down. Now we're going to lay these down because the next thing we need to do is punch out our opening. So we're going to lay down our first mat. We're going to lay down our second mat, and you can, if you want to step it up just a little bit, you could emboss this area right here. This would be a good mat to emboss. And then we need to go ahead and cut a side strip right here. And I want this to match this DSP or this patterned paper right here. So this needs to be 1 1/2 by 3 3/4. So let's see if we have enough. Yes, we do. So we're going to cut just a little bit off and we're going to cut it at 1 1/2. So that is going to go right here. But before we lay that down, on the inside, we also need to cut a white mat. So we will be laying this down, but before we do that, we need to go ahead and take our belt, our little flap, go ahead and fold it over, give it a good crease, because this is where we go ahead and slip this right under. You want to go ahead and put it right in the middle. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to just lay down this little flap. Just put a little glue right here, not much, and we're going to line it up right on this edge, right in the middle. Okay, we're ready to now lay down our inside mat. We're going to center it. And that small strip that we cut, we're going to add it right here. Just giving it a little border around the edges. Do you see how quickly this card is put together? So nice. And so now we can go ahead and close this. Look at that. So pretty. Now we decided to go ahead and lay another little layer right here on the top of our white. So we're going to cut it at 3.5 by 3.5. Just to give it some interest and some more dimension. Now you don't have to put that many layers on your card, and we're going to show you other cards that it doesn't have that many layers. But this one, we just wanted to pop it up just a little bit more. Now look at that. Look how pretty that looks. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is punch out our opening. Now there is several ways you can do this. You can take your rectangle stitched dies, and you can take this smaller one right here. You can lay it right on your flap, just kind of gauge exactly where you need it. Put your tape and just run it through your embossing machine. We just happen to have a retired punch that we love and we will never get rid of. And so we are going to just use this. And if you have this, it makes it so much easier. You just put it right up to the edge, right here, all the way in. And then you just line it up and punch. And look at that perfect opening. Now, the rectangle will do the same thing. You just need to be careful how many layers of mats you put on it. So that's just something to be mindful of. And then this just slips in very nicely on your buckle. Now, the next thing we want to do is go ahead and lay something down here because we want this covered. What we have done, we took this beautiful embossing folder. Look at that. Looks just gorgeous. We embossed our red cardstock, and we are going to just lay it on top of this right here, just for some added interest. We already have our patterned paper, so we're bringing back in the red, real red cardstock. So let's just go ahead and lay that down. Now we want to go ahead and just slide this in, and we want to do that because we want to know exactly where to put our hearts that we're going to attach to the front of this. Now we took our deckled circles and we cut out this beautiful gold circle. We also took our beautiful country bouquet stamp set and punch, and we are going to punch out this stamp. Now, let me show you a little trick. Go ahead and punch it out on some cardstock. Once you get that punched out, just lay it down. Now, you can put removable tape on it if you want. Grab your stamps and let's just stamp right into that. So for today's card, we're going to use Real Red, Garden Green, and Night of Navy. So let's stamp our hearts first. Okay. Next, we're going to bring in our Garden Green, and we're going to stamp our leaves. Now just take off your template, and you can use that punch, and you won't waste any paper. Now, you will need to cut it off close to this so that you can put it in your punch. We're just going to line it up. And a little tip is apply some pressure when you think you have it just right, and that will hold it in place before you punch it. We also took a stitched circle and cut out this cute paper. Look at those hearts. Now we're going to set this up on some dimensionals. And we cut out our sentiment from Hooray for Surprises. We're using Sending You Lots of Love. We went ahead and just stamped it with Night of Navy and cut it out. So let's just put that up on some dimensionals, and then we can add our hearts. And now you can just decide exactly where you want to put your hearts. Just going to add our little heart right down here at the bottom. Now, the way you add this to the front of your card is you need to put your dimensionals around here so that you don't actually touch this area, because this needs to come in and out your belt. So we're going to go ahead and just attach it right there. And you can add it to your circles, or you can actually add it to the card, however you want. I'm going to go ahead and add it to the circle. We're just going to center it right here on this area. And look at how cute that looks. What do you think about that card? You take out your belt, you open it up, and you have plenty of room to write. You simply curve your belt just a little bit and it slips right in. Isn't that an adorable Valentine's card? Now, I want you to think about all the possibilities. You don't have to create a Valentine's card. You can create another card. It just depends on the color coordination and the images that you use. So let's go ahead and create our second card. And our second card is going to use several stamp sets. We have our detailed dogwood. We're using this flower. Lovely and sweet, we're using a sentiment. So let's go ahead and grab our card and get that put together. Now, the first thing you want to do is cut your base card. And we know that that is 4 1/4 by 9 3/4 scored at 5 1/2. So We went ahead and we scored that. We also cut our mats for the front. So we have our white mat. We brought in this beautiful patterned paper that we're going to put right on the top. So let's go ahead and do this. And this would be a lovely masculine card because the colors are muted and dogwood is, you know, such a pretty flower. Let's go ahead and lay this down. And then we're going to lay down the inside. Now, once again, this is just your normal first mat. This is 5 1/4 by 4. And then we cut a strip to put right here on the side. And we're just making sure that we have the same margins on the side. This is such a quick and easy buckle card. But yet it is quite pretty and makes a statement. Now you have plenty of room to write your message. But before we glue that down all the way, we need to go ahead and just slip in our belt that was 2 by 6 and scored at 2. So let's just go ahead and slip that in. And look at that. Look at how pretty that folds right over. Now we decided to bring in this beautiful pink because we are going to color our dogwood with some shades of pink. So let's go ahead and just lay this right here on top. Now, if you want to, you can use this time to punch if you have this punch. If not, once again, use those stitched rectangle dies to cut your opening. And we know we need right here, so we don't have to worry about it. We just put it all the way in and punch. And look at that, it folds over very nicely. The next thing we want to do, I have stamped those beautiful dogwoods, and I am going to use these blends to color them. So I have dark flirty flamingo and light flirty flamingo. I have old olive, and then I also have pecan pie. So let's go ahead and just color those. Because if you are using your blends correctly, they will bleed through to the other side. So let's go ahead and just lay down a piece of paper, and let's bring in our dark flirty flamingo and just go around the edges. Okay, and let's go ahead and cut out our beautiful dogwood. Now look at that. Look at how beautiful that cuts out. So pretty. I went ahead and I used this die set to cut out the frame that we're going to use for the front of our card. And we're going to do it in white, and we're going to line this up right on our grid paper, just so that we can stamp it right in the center. And let's add this right to the front of our card. Now we want to center it left to right and top to bottom. And we want to add our flowers so that they don't go over the card. So we need to add some dimensionals. And on our dimensionals, remember, we want to stay right here on the outer edges. Right here. We want to make sure that our belt still slips out just perfectly. You can add it right back into its slot. And now we're just going to add our flowers right here. Okay, here are the 2 cards that we made. Let me know. Take a moment. Are you Team Valentine or Team Dogwood? They're both just so pretty and so easy to make. But let me show you our other cards. We have this beautiful blueberry card that we showed you. We added those gemstones. We embossed this to make it pop. We added this patterned paper and then just cut out some more blueberries and stuck it right on the side. This fits right back into the slot. And then we took a new stamp set. Look at this. It's a good day to have a good day. Of course, I love these bright colors. We added our 3 gems on the side. We embossed this with our embossing folder with lemons and leaves. Look how cute that looks. You open it up and there you have it. You can slip it right back in. So take a moment, let us know which is your favorite. Maudie and I love to read your comment. Well, thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We hope you were inspired just a little bit and you give us a thumbs up and you share with your crafting friends. We'll go out and make it a fantastic day and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.